Peace reflections. You are over here with T, baby. You are over here with Saria. Shout out to me. Shout out to you, reflection. So, with that being said, you see what the title say. We are here to go down this rabbit hole reflection. I'm just here to see. I'm just looking. I ain't even finna pick up nothing, put on my spaceship, or none of that reflection tonight. Today, whenever you hit this video, we just looking. We not picking up nothing like we did last time. Reflection. Okay, let me turn this music down in my spaceship because I want y'all to hear me good. Okay, hear me good, hear me good. Okay, because I don't want you to put shit on the spaceship. Then when we get back to Mars, I gotta explain to them why we got shit from Earth on the spaceship after we done told them we wasn't gonna take shit. Reflection, that don't do that thing. Young money, baby. We don't care. Okay, hit the like and subscribe. But you over here with T, and you know how I do. I cut up sometime reflection. I cut up heavy. So with that being said, reflection, I hope all of y'all are in good vibrations because you're gonna need it. We are down, we are here. I said we down, we are here, reflection, trying to see what's up with these witches and warlocks, baby. What y'all doing over there? It has been alleged over there on Venus now. This I didn't hear this on Mars. I was over there on Venus. They said, reflection, that the witches and the warlocks over here now, they was working a little bit with the gov or the T, reflection, the gov of the T, allegedly opening up portals and shit. Reflection, I heard. I mean, I'm not saying they did it on purpose, but it was definitely a portal or two opened up. Rise and I woke. Reflection, that's what happened. I think this they was doing some type of ritual, They said, wait a minute, T, hold on. You got your shit all mixed up. Because have you not heard about the Salem witch trials? The gov of the T, they was trying to get rid of that bullshit. They was trying to get rid of the crystals, the herbs, the incense, the wands, all that shit. Reflection. That's what they said. But hold on. Is that what they told you? Or is that what it really was? Stick over here with T and we gonna see. Okay, we over here to see what's really going on. Did they really want to get that do you believe in magic out the way, reflection, or was they using it? Were they allies the whole time? Remember, let me put my shit up here. Let me put my disclaimer up here because I don't want y'all getting behind my spaceship calling them people, telling YouTube and shit to get behind my spaceship. Let me put everything up here. It's alleged. Everything is what I heard on Venus. I know the laws on Venus ain't the same over here on Earth. So I had to put up my banner. I had to put it up, reflection. Okay. So with that being said, remember to always do your own research, reflection. These videos, I just come over here and leave stains on brains. I just be leaving stains on brains. Yes, reflection. That's all I be doing. I'm not trying to make you believe anything. I ain't even said nothing. I didn't even. Okay. Well, with that being said, reflection, let's get started. Now, this particular clip, we're gonna play some clips and then we're gonna stop and we're gonna talk about it because some of this shit we gotta stop and discuss. We gotta stop and talk about this, reflection. Okay. Now this video, the credit, I got this source. The source of this video is End Times Production. Definitely go check them out. They have a lot of great content over there, reflection. You will not be disappointed. Again, I got this from End Times Production. Okay. So with that being said, let's get started.
UFOs. Or flying saucers, I should say, that he saw 9 craft flying over Rainier, Washington back in 1947. He was flying a plane over Mount Rainier, Washington, and saw these 9 craft and said that they looked like they were saucers skipping on a pond. So that's where we got the term flying saucers. And after he saw those 9 craft, he wrote in his memoir that he was having poltergeist activity and all sorts of bizarre things happening in his home. And even his daughter, who's done multiple interviews, has said that there was all sorts of bizarre things going on in the household after that incident. This is Chad Riley, and you're watching End Times Production. If you come in direct contact, and it's not just things like that, it's even people who suffer from sleep paralysis and things like that as well. So, or even close encounters, it's all connected. And the fact that this hitchhiker phenomenon, that it spreads like a virus, so it spreads throughout your family and your friends and co-workers, and it could spread out into the neighborhood. Even the FBI document 6751, if you read that document, it says that the entities are not from another planet, but from another plane or another reality or some another.
All right, Reflection, hit the like and subscribe button. What do you think about that right there? What do you think about them saying that these particular beings are from another realm? Reflection, they from a whole nother dimension. What do you think about that? And not only that, Reflection, what do you think? This is another, this, here we go down this rabbit hole of these UFOs by water. Why do so many UFOs be by these bodies of water? Reflection, remember he said that they actually got the name UFO because it looked like they was literally skipping over the water. Reflection, like they be in sync with the water. What do you think about that? Is this all a coincidence or is it something really to this?
Documents, or that document in particular, and it says that they are not normal size like us. It says they are much larger. A lot of these people that have gone out to Skinwalker Ranch or some of these other things that we've discussed, when they are seeing these shadow people in their homes, some of them say that they are anywhere between 8 to 10 feet tall. And it doesn't just stop right there either. Even at S2, which is an Air Force base, and at S2, George Knapp has talked about they have seen shadow people out at these military bases and that they are roaming and running around. Guards have encountered them and pulled guns on them. Well, if you listen very carefully to what the Navajo and the people are saying out there, especially the indigenous people, they talk about these things like they're more demonic entity. And this is coming from them. In fact, do you know much about the Great Witch Purge of 1878? That was not too long after they had been resettled, and they thought that part of the reason why they had been kicked off the land had something to do with witches. And so when they dug up a body of one of the Indians that had been buried, they found a copy of the treaty in that Indian's stomach, and they believed that it had something to do with witches. So they killed several members of their tribe, thinking that was the Great Witch Purge of 1878. They believe that the witches, they commit these murders. They either commit a murder of somebody who is very close to them or somebody who's very near and dear to them, and that by doing so, it opens them up and gives them this power to shapeshift. But again, when you really look into this stuff, these things are coming from another dimension or another realm. Because out there at Skinwalker Ranch, they have seen these things, literally windows, portals opening up out there, and that they exit these portals, these windows, and they roam around. In fact, they had one that came out of a portal, ran across a field, another portal opened up, and it went through that portal and disappeared.
Is it another dimension? Like when you go through the door, is it another plane of existence?
They've even ran into the predator creature out there, not on one occasion, but multiple occasions out there at Skinwalker Ranch. Back when Terry Sherman owned the ranch, they ran into the predator creature. A gentleman that had heard some of the news events about what was going on out there when they first started talking about it before Bigelow even showed up and bought the ranch. Somebody had drove out there and wanted to know if he could go out onto the property and pray or meditate. So he's sitting out there praying and meditating, and next thing they know, they keep hearing a cowbell, but none of Terry's cows had any cowbells on them. So all of a sudden he saw something like a blur running from the tree line towards this individual who was sitting out there in the middle of this pasture. And whatever it was, he said it was humongous. He said it ran up and stood right over him and said it was louder than a bear and a lion. And it let out this humongous roar, and the guy actually jumped 6 feet back from a sitting position, and he was so petrified he would not let go of them after they ran over and helped him back up. Finally, Terry had to tell him, he said, if you don't let go of me, I'm going to hit you. And he told him, he said, I'll let go of you, but you got to get me off this property. And he said, this property is cursed. He said, you're dealing with.
Hit the like and subscribe button. We over here talking about, are these witches and warlocks were they working with these not only the gov of the T, but these secret programs, Reflection, to not only astral project in certain places, but to open up portals, Reflection. And if so, did they open up portals unknowingly to knowingly or unknowingly, let's go back there, allegedly knowingly or unknowingly to these particular entities. And what do you think about, remember in the video he said that the cow actually, he heard bells, Bell, not the Baal, but the the Bell. Reflection, he said they heard bells ringing, but it was never, the cows didn't have any bells on them. What do you think that signifies? What is that a symbolism of? Reflection, why do you think that bells were ringing? And bells are very significant to certain entities. Reflection, bells are very significant to a particular entity. Definitely go and do your research. You don't gotta think too hard. Reflection, just words are power, just remember that.
And he told him, he said, I'll let go of you, but you got to get me off this property. And he said, this property is cursed. He said, you're dealing with the devil.
You ever dance with the devil by the pale moonlight?
This has been going on for a very long time, because Franciscan monks who have been out there since 1776 have reported seeing 3 fireballs flying around in the sky out there. So this has been going on for a very long time. The Indians have known it even longer than that. And like I said, most of them, they won't even go near the ranch. And the ones that do, they usually take offerings or animal skins and they put them on the fence post to ward off the demonic spirits and keep them at bay. That's their words. Brandon Fugel, in an interview that he did with Sean Ryan, actually said that. And that's the thing, is that they don't even like talking about these entities. And it's not just that, but it's Wendigo. Any of these entities that you can name off, they do not like them being mentioned, because like they said, if you talk about them, it's invoking them and they will come looking for you. So this sounds more demonic than anything. Even Jacques Vallée and a lot of these researchers, especially like Nigel Kerner and all these other ufologists out there that really study this, they all akin the whole alien thing, that it's more demonic than it is something coming from another galaxy or another world.
The Bible, what if it's connected?
Do you think it's connected?
Yeah, it's all absolutely connected. In fact, did you know that Kenneth Arnold and Jack Parsons were flying buddies? And Robert Goddard, who was another rocket engineer that was early pioneer in the rocket engineering, lived in Roswell, and he also knew both of these individuals. So you got that. So it's like you have the Kenneth Arnold sighting, and less than 2 weeks later you have the Roswell crash, and that these individuals all knew one another. The U.S. Air Force started investigating Jack.
So what do you think, Reflection? Why do you think these crashes happened? Do you think they knew too much? Do you think they was talking too much? Did they see the wrong shit? Reflection, what's really going on? And you heard what he said. The people that are studying these UFOs, they seem to think that the passengers are fallen entities. Reflection, their words, not Tarithia. This ain't what Tarithia is saying now. Come to your own conclusion. But Reflection, these particular beings, remember I said in another video, a lot of people thinking they coming as above, but the whole time they coming from below. Reflection, they're coming from below, allegedly. Okay, so what do you think about that? What do you think about these UFOs coming from the water? What do you think about him saying that certain portals were knowingly and some unknowingly open to these particular entities? Remember I told you, a lot of people know how to open a portal, but they rarely know how to close them. Hit the like and subscribe button, because we are over here talking about witches opening portals for these UFOs to come through. And allegedly the Gov of the T knew this. Reflection, they could have been working hand in hand.
Of Aleister Crowley, and that they had been doing this ritual called the Babylon Working between the years 1945 and 1946, and that supposedly they were successful in 1946. I believe that they actually did exactly what they set out to do, to bring about Babylon, the Whore of Babylon, and the Son of Perdition end times. In fact, it was Charles Race Tussle, who was the creator of Jehovah's Witnesses, who said that the end of the world would begin on October 14th, 1912? And that was the same day that Jack Parsons was born.
Okay, that's freaky.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's freaky, right?
What are the odds of that? Well, not just the rituals that they were performing out there at his mansion that he lived at, but also whenever they would go out and they would do these rocket launches, he was performing rituals to the Greek god Pan and doing all sorts of things. So, I mean, this stuff, it gets really dark and really deep really quickly. In fact, the place that they would go out there and do these rocket tests was called Devil's Gate Dam. In fact, him and his Suicide Squad, another interesting term right there. And come to find out, the same Robert Goddard that we were talking about a while ago, that's where he did all his rocket experiments. It's the exact.
Okay, reflection. Now, I'm just saying. At first, we said they was unknowingly opening these portals, but my thing is this, reflection. If you go to somewhere called the Devil's Playground, the Devil's Punch Bowl, the Devil's Sippy Cup, whatever the name of it was, reflection, and you do a ritual and you open a portal, what do you think could possibly be coming through the portal if you go to a place with that type of night, with that type of energy on the reflection? So that makes me put on my thinking cap, and now I'm like, did they know? Was this intentional? What was they trying to do if it was intentional?
That led me into the remote viewers. I found out, I thought they were the early pioneers of the hitchhiker effect because Uri Geller, one of the researchers, was part of SRI and the early remote viewing program. When they were researching him and looking into his powers, all the scientists that were assigned to researching him started having the hitchhiker effect in their homes and their families. The branch of the CIA called MK Offen, and this branch, that was their thing, was that they got into the occult and esoteric, pretty much kind of like the Ahnenerbe was the Nazis' version. You know, they had several things like the Thule Society and Vril, but it was the Ahnenerbe who was really steeped in the occult as well as the Vril. But yeah, MK Offen, I mean, they would infiltrate seances. They would send members into seances. They actually openly talked with witches, active witches. In fact, one of the most well-known witches, this well-known witch was Sybil Leek. This lady, she was so well known that H.G. Wells, Lawrence of Arabia, and Aleister Crowley all used to visit her back when she was 9 years old. Her family was that connected. In fact, when MK Offen was dealing with her and approaching her, she would tell them where the most active covens were, all the different locations of witches and covens all around the world. I mean, you know that also, what was it, Crowley and several of his colleagues, they all worked with British intelligence. So that's another thing, is like a lot of these people that are steeped in the occult and witchcraft and things like that and demonic and satanic rituals also have a lot to do with spies and spy agencies, different governments, intelligence agencies. I mean, there was a lady at the beginning of the film that you hear her talking about that she witnessed satanic rituals going on out at military bases. And she said that a lot of the people that are mixed up in the naval intelligence, not all of them, but a lot of them, are mixed up with the OTO, the Ordo Templi Orientis.
There was programming. They use military bases because they won't have any interference when they have someone on a military base. And a lot of my programming took place on military bases. I would like to talk about the fact that there are rituals done at the military bases also, and that rituals are not a cover. The people that do the mind control are involved, and rituals are very much a part of how they do things. For example, naval intelligence members.
All right, reflection, hit the like and subscribe button. What do you think about that? Now, all of them aren't military bases, but a lot of them are allegedly. And she said that mind control, her words not tea. Her words not tea. She said a lot of her mind control went on at these military bases. And think about that, reflection. when they said that they were actually using these witches and these warlocks to astral project certain places. Reflection, think about that. Think about having an individual that can literally be in one place and see something some other place. Imagine having an individual that can jump minds and jump time. Imagine having reflection. You have to understand, are you sure that the Salem trials was really about getting rid of them witches? Are you sure, reflection, those witch hunts were really about cleaning up the occult order? Do you really think that was going on, reflection? Do you really think about it? Just think a second. That's almost like a weapon, almost like a power. Let me tell you about back when. Let me take you back when, reflection, because nothing is new under the sun. To understand understand what's going on right now, you gotta look in the past, because shit all the same. It's a time lapse, reflection, allegedly. Back when, reflection, the pharaoh, the king, if he had an oracle, all the good ones had one, reflection. They call them tarot readers now and shit. Back when, reflection, before he let her leave, she would be assassinated. She would be assassinated before he let her out his sight. His superpower, the one that can project to other places, the one that can read minds, jump time, reflection. Before he let her out, before he let somebody else get a hold to a reflection, they would assassinate them. They would take them up, clean up out the palace, reflection, take them clean to never land. Do you hear what I'm saying to you, reflection? Nothing is new under the sun. Now, if the pharaoh, the one who got all the power, if he felt like that person was so vital to his kingdom that he would risk taking them out before he let anybody else get a hold to him, it was more than love, reflection. It was more than that magic box. It was something more to it, reflection. Nothing is new under the sun. And when you know that, reflection, then you will understand why all those witch hunts went on. Then you will understand, reflection. Okay, keep thinking it. Remember, everything over here is alleged. It's what I heard up street round the block up the corner, and I like the size of my forehead. I think it's kind of cute.
That led me into the remote viewers. I found out, I thought they were the early pioneers of the hitchhiker effect, because Uri Geller, one of the researchers, was part of SRI and the early remote viewing program. When they were researching him and looking into his powers, all the scientists that were assigned to researching him started having the hitchhiker effect in their homes and their families. The branch.
So let's stop right there. I want to go back and I want to double play that. These people, reflection, were having certain visions. They opening these portals and shit at work, reflection, go to the house and shit. Now they got entities and shit allegedly sitting on the couch and shit at the end of their bed and shit, reflection. They trying to figure out what's going on the whole time. You know, opened a fucking portal, allegedly. Hit the like and subscribe button, and you don't know how to close it.
Probably both around the same time encountered an entity. Crowley said that it referred to itself as Cthulhu, and it was H.P. Lovecraft who said it revealed itself to him as Cthulhu. But
before we go on, let's stop. Anybody here seen Lovecraft? I keep telling y'all they put the shit in the movies. All the good shit, the real shit is in the movie, reflection. It's in the movies. Now, anybody here that has seen Lovecraft, keep that show in mind. Keep it in mind. Keep it in mind. Keep it in mind. Let's listen.
Probably both around the same time encountered an entity. Crowley said that it referred to itself as Cthulhu, and it was H.P. Lovecraft who said it revealed itself to him as Cthulhu. But there was Kenneth Grant, who was the secretary of Thelema, who took over Thelema and OTO after Crowley died, and he wrote a 9-book series called the Typhonian series. And in the one book, he came out and said that Crowley misunderstood. He said that he had encountered the exact same entity that H.P. Lovecraft did. He just misunderstood, and that they were the same entity, and that it was actually Cthulhu. And Lovecraft, even Kenneth Grant, in his book Aleister Crowley and the Hidden God, he said that Lovecraft was dealing with things that he didn't fully understand. He had tapped into something, but he wasn't doing it through occult rituals. In fact, you know, his father, I believed, was stricken with, I think his father actually went insane, if I remember correctly, and that I don't know if these are generational curses or what, but I think at the same time Lovecraft was tapping into things that invoked a lot of this stuff. And what he was writing about these old ones, he was just talking about fallen angels and Nephilim spirits. And so that was the reason that Kenneth Grant came out.
Okay, hit the like and subscribe. But remember, everything over here is alleged. Everything is what we heard up the street, round the block, up the corner. But Reflection, let's double back. Anybody here that's seen Lovecraft, if you ain't seen it, definitely go check it out. Reflection, go definitely check it out. Go on Else Movies or something, go check it out. Okay, you ain't got your little subscription, go check it out. That's what T said. Don't tell them T sent you over there though. Don't even tell them Reflection. Okay, now with that being said, I'm just trying to put you on something. So anybody that didn't see Lovecraft, remember, in the series Reflection, he didn't know that his family, he was from a long line of powerful warlocks. Reflection, they had that power. Reflection, they had the key. Now the other man, the man who was over the plantation, that you get what I'm saying, his people were at Reflection a long time ago, back when they knew the power of the slave that they had there. They knew that he had the key, and he wasn't just really no slave. Reflection, they knew that he had the DEA. He had that little drop of blood that can open that portal. Reflection, the whole time. And as you see in the series, they said a lot of people had been trying to open that particular portal. Reflection, a lot of people had been trying to open the portal, but they failed. Not only did they fail, they died. Reflection, trying, because they didn't have the key, they didn't have that code. Okay, now Reflection, think in the movie they was trying to manipulate him. They was trying to make him feel like he wasn't the key in the situation the whole time. His uncle had to come through and let him know, hold on, really, he running shit in here. He the one supposed to be at this round table, because technically he got the key. Reflection, okay, you gotta know, they couldn't even open the portal. Reflection, they had all them powerful men there, and they couldn't even open the portal without him. They couldn't even open the portal without him. You better go watch Lovecraft. I be trying to tell you something, but I really ain't saying much. I'm saying something, but I ain't saying much. Go watch Lovecraft Reflection, then double back, and everything will make sense.
We talked about Crowley, that he had invoked the first entity, Awas, and he never saw Awas. He just dictated the Book of the Law. But in the Book of the Law, it actually stated that or actually it was Aleister Crowley was convinced that the Book of the Law was going to bring about the Son of Perdition, and eventually the end times was another thing. In fact, after it was released, when it first came out, World War I broke out quickly, not too long after. And then he decided to re-release the book right before World War II broke out. And once he re-released it, and then World War II broke out, he was convinced beyond a shadow of a doubt that it played some sort of a role in bringing about the end times and the Son of Perdition. In fact, he referred to this by invoking something, these world wars, so that there would be mass blood sacrifice, and what he called baptism of blood for the Son of Perdition. Those aren't my words, that's Kenneth Grant's words. Well, Crowley never referred to them as alien or anything like. In fact, he didn't even refer to them as angels or demons. He just referred to them as Enochian entities, which is what John Dee used to refer to these individuals or these entities as. But yeah, when you look at the drawing that he did of Lamb, it totally looks like a gray alien. In fact, Stephen Greer, who does the CE5 research, so he does this. One of the things that they did out there in the desert where they were doing the CE5, a alien appeared flying over the group of people that was out there. And when you look at that photograph and put it right beside the drawing of Lamb, they're identical, completely identical. And that's the thing, is that, you know, most people think that this has to do with some sort of an alien hybrid program. It has nothing to do with that. They may be doing some of this stuff as far as like hybridization, but that's not what this is about. In fact, Nigel Kerner, one of the leading ufologists, he came out and said that him and John Mack, and who else was it? Whitley Strieber, they all three say that this has something to do with the human soul. They are trying to somehow implant themselves into the human soul.
Hit the like and subscribe button, reflection. Everything over here is alleged. Everything over here is alleged is what I heard up the street, round the block, up the corner. Now, if this is true, why would who's to even say these are fallen angels, reflection? Shit, who's to say that? Who is to say that they may be flying angels, not fallen ones? Okay, so with that being said, reflection, why would they want to embody certain spirits? Why do you think that is? If that is true, why would they want to embody certain spirits? And do you think you could tell if you came in contact with a person that has another spirit embodied within them, reflection? Because they're saying now, think about when they said these portals and shit was opening up. Think about how long ago that was, reflection. Think about it. Entities, they don't just say, you know what, I've been here too long, you know, it's boring anyway, let me go find somebody else. You'll get what I'm saying. That ain't how it work, reflection. That's not how it go. Once you open the portal, if you don't know how to close it, it's open, reflection. What's coming through is through that, reflection. Do you know how to send it back? That's the question.
Somehow implant themselves into the human soul. So you got to ask yourself, why are they so fascinated with the human soul?
Sometimes something so bad happens that a terrible sadness is carried with it, and the soul can't rest.
I believe that this is all antediluvian. The whole, nothing new under the sun. People think of things like Star Trek and Star Wars. It's like they think they're looking to the future, but you're actually looking into the past. Whatever you could think of, it's already been done. And the whole thing about these craft, Bob Lazar was talking about the 9 craft for a long time. He's actually taken people like John Lear and Phil Snyder and all them have gone out there with him. They've seen the craft flying around. In fact, he got arrested and they threatened his life, and that's why he ended up leaving the program. And he went public about it because he thought that they were going to kill him. Bob Lazar had already came out and said that, one of the craft that they had found out there, and this was in the Joe Rogan podcast, but he told Joe Rogan that one of the craft that they had out there was actually found at an archaeological dig. So it wasn't just old, it was ancient. So when you think of things like Vimanas and you hear stories about these craft that can fly from continent to continent, pole to pole, that Admiral Byrd was talking about, it's like, this is not anything new. Now, David Rush, that's a little more current. He's the whistleblower that came out and was talking about all these black budget programs, and that, they had all these crafts all around the country at different locations, different facilities that they were trying to back engineer, and that's where we get a lot of the technology from. I mean, right after 1947, the Roswell crashed, and all of a sudden we had cell phones. I mean, the cell phone came out in 1947. Most people don't even know that. The whole thing about the transistors and things like that, all this stuff was coming out right around 1947. 1947 was a pivotal year because of everything they were doing with the Babylon working ritual, plus the Mount Rainier sighting, and then the Roswell crash not even 2 weeks later. But look at all the other things that were happening in 1947. That Israel had already been agreed upon to become a state again, and that it was actually enacted in 1948, but yet it was agreed upon in 1947. Then you had the Dead Sea Scrolls that were found, and you just look at all the things that just kept happening in 1947. That was something was unlocked. Something was transpiring.
Now, keep in mind, cell phones, that's reflection. If you go back and you do some research, and now I know we call them cell phones now, reflection, but you got to think it's a different name for shit. When you in a different time period, we call them cell phones now, reflection. 300, 400 years from now, they may be called something totally different. They may be called shit, face phone. I don't know, reflection. They creative, but kind of, but not really. Reflection. This is nothing unnew. If you go back and you do research into the Anunnaki, reflection, I don't got a picture. I should have put a picture up here. If you will look, reflection, I even think I did a video on this. It was about a year ago though, reflection. This video, I was talking about the Anunnaki, and we was talking about cell phones, reflection. What looked like as the first Nokia, that first Nokia phone, reflection, that shit was way back when they found that shit. If you look at pictures of the Anunnaki in the caves and shit, they had that shit then, reflection. Watches and what we call wearables, reflection. You get what I'm saying? your watch and shit. What reflection? I done rolled up, hold up too much. Reflection, your watch reflection. They had all that shit. Then you could touch the motherfucker, the whole projection screen just pop up allegedly like in the movies. Reflection, the shit we got now really old. Our Apple Watch shit, our Samsung watch, Android watch, whatever reflection. The iSport watch is old. Reflection, all that shit is old, and allegedly they got it from the extraterrestrials. They got it from below. Reflection, as above, so below. I keep trying to tell you, why do you think it's so easy to decode all these logos? Because they are the same ones from back when. They are the reflection. There is nothing new under the sun. Okay, now remember though, I feel like my forehead and shit. Everything over here is alleged. It's alleged. It's just what I heard. Now I'm just here to leave a stain on your brain. Go do your own research. But you have to understand, a lot of technology and a lot of things that we got now, reflection, a lot of things that's coming out we think is new is old. Reflection, think about even in the caves of the Egyptians with the hieroglyphs and different things like that, they have space, what we call UFOs and stuff. That's what they are projecting on. It looked the same. Reflection, it looks exactly the same. So they must was seeing this shit back then. And not only that, you heard that he said that they are digging up this shit. Reflection, they digging it up. So what do you think? What do you think about that? Okay, remember, when you are researching the future, you got to go back and look at the past, because they're literally one in the same. Until next time.